Hello, good evening, and welcome to Twilight Banquet Lufenia once more for my first ever Simply Lost Content Creator Challenge against the Exdeath Astaroth enemies. I've been challenged to bring Keiss to this event, which is a pretty nice pick to get, if I'm entirely honest. If you're not aware of the Simply Lost CC Challenge, we have content creators challenging each other to bring specific characters to events. Now, usually I'm not a big fan of bringing a character with a carry team. It feels like a bit of a pointless waste of time. But I will be honest, I have brought a bit of a carry team for Keiss here. He's not bad, he does pull his own weight, launches are always good, and they'll always contribute to your damage, especially with the battery he gets off launches. It's a really nice debuff he gets on LD, Bravery Leak. And I'll be honest, he's a lot better than about half the roster who don't even have LDs. But a lot of the characters he works well with aren't great for this event. For instance, Lael is full AoE on pretty much everything, and the one thing you can't do with these guys is do AoE Brave damage. As soon as they set up their break counter, AoE Brave damage is going to become a very, very dicey proposition. Because if you break the one that's got the counter up, it's not a kill, but it will dispel all their debuffs, and dispel all your own buffs. And it hits bloody hard, you don't want it to happen. So AoE's largely out of the picture. Cloud has a lot of AoE in his kit. Probably could have got away with maybe Dark Knight Cecil, but if I'm entirely honest, I was pretty done with this event after my run with Ashe, Agrius, and Varn, which you can check out on my channel if you haven't seen. That was maybe the most insane run I've tried in my entire career. But Varn and Warrior of Light very safe here. Varn does stupid damage while maintaining the orb in his white whirl. And Warrior of Light has some nice auras, and will counteract most of the things they do. They have some big Brave gains, which, you know, the shields won't stop, but the Warrior of Light LD absolutely will. If they're hitting you for HP damage, not breaking the shields, then you're not taking HP damage. A ludicrously powerful effect. However, you might notice Warrior of Light is not on the field, because I've swapped him out for Exdeath BT. It's one of the featured tools for this event, and it's very, very powerful. It's quite nice with launch, actually, because if you're unaware of what it does an HP poison at the start of every single turn, which is a lot. I think maybe Cloud of Darkness or Yang, but it also batteries the party while doing it, which is great. The one thing you can always do with more of while you're running a launch team is battery. You saw I used some AAs there. Keiss loves his AA. It refills his hero support, which gives him more launches. And using AA will make sure that Exdeath BT is being used to full effect. Now, in an ideal world, I would have swapped Keiss out instead of Varn, because Warrior of Light provides much, much better auras, and I want to use that Exdeath BT effect during Varn's burst. I was trying to see if I get maybe a turn before Exdeath's burst aura ends, but it wasn't going to happen. This is actually a bit of a mistake I made here. I tried to run down the Mist debuff to milk Exdeath's BT effect there, thinking that Mist wouldn't go down during the BT phase. It does. It absolutely does. I was aware of that. I was just being very stupid. And honestly, I don't know what was going through my mind. I did this run quite a while ago, and I've just not got around to the commentary. So apologies for that. So absolutely ruins that Mist. Powering through those AAs to try and make as much use of the BT effect as possible, which is maintaining the orb, so it's not the worst idea in the world. Slightly unnecessary, admittedly, but I think it's about time to go into Varn BT. Yeah, it would have been nicer to swap out Keiss, but I'm doing a challenge with him. You're not allowed to swap him out. Fair enough, I can get down with that. Here we go. And I think right after using this, it dawns on me that, oh dear, this Mist is going to tick down. I've made a big mistake. I've wasted a use of Mist. And that's a big deal in this fight, actually, because you can't freely earth an eruption. I mentioned the break counters, and again, if you've seen my other video, you'll know that planning AoE LD uses when they're important buffs that you need to use frequently, you need to use something like a call or a summon phase in order to reuse that very important LD. So yeah, wasting it is not a smart move. Fortunately, I've got all the damage I'll ever need for this fight. Calamus' Orb is actually quite a bad burst skill. The aura is pretty poor. It doesn't do much damage in its single target. Despite how much Vaan does, that burst phase isn't huge. Well, I say that with absolutely no sports on the pitch. Yeah, Keiss was probably carried here, but again, having those launches with all that battery, we're going to do, a lot of extra damage. Hero support is a pretty evergreen skill if you've got access to it, so long as your team can take advantage of battery. I actually did a run that I'm not going to upload of the recent Xandi LC that people were talking to me about how you can't bring Exdeath without BT in that, how he's hard counted. And I took that extremely personally, despite not having tried to run Exdeath there. I decided that, no, that was absolute nonsense. So I ran a team of Xandi, Exdeath, and Lael. The original thinking was that the orb would be the issue, because of course Exdeath can never proc the orb. He doesn't break. Well, he does on Brave, but on his Brave attack, but no one's using that. And he doesn't proc. He can't be enchanted, right? So he can't proc the dark. So I thought, if I bring a launch, then at least on his turn, if he does a launch, thanks to Lael, then someone in that launch can do a Brave attack or break. But it actually just turned out to not be important. The orb actually wasn't an issue in it. I got through the fight pretty cleanly. Those grand crosses he does, his EX, it's a powerful skill in mitigation. Anyway, that's not the fight we're talking about. We're talking about this fight. And I'll be honest, I really hate it. I really hate how it locks out so many characters who rely on those AoE LDs, unless you're using calls in a very big brain way. And I really hate how, unless you're Terra Yanging it, you have to bring Exdeath in some way. You can do it with his base call. His base call is enough. But if you don't bring his base call, or Exdeath Friend, or Exdeath LDCA, if you don't bring something like that, you are not getting past this orb, I don't think, without Terra Yang. And although from a pull perspective, it's not a problem, and although I think Blart did a really good video on this, Blartanian, if you're not aware of him, Blart DFFOO, where he said that that's not restrictive, because so long as you bring the call, you can bring tons of teams, and that is true. I just don't like how there are so few avenues to deal with the orb. I personally find that quite creatively stifling, I think. I'm a hipster with my runs. I don't like to bring the characters everyone else is bringing, ideally. I say that as I do a bloody Vaan and Warrior of Light carry. I've seen about 5 or 6 other people use the exact same team to carry people through, but hey-ho. Can't win them all. Oh yeah, using my LD during the summon, because it's the only time I can definitely get away with doing it. You honestly can, if they've got their defense buff up that they use after Radiant Shade, that yellow AoE attack they did, you can get away with doing some AoE Brave attacks without breaking, because they have that very powerful defense buff. But I hate chancing it, because, doing it at sort of this kind of time in the fight, when they're very close to dead, and you realise, if I screw it up, I've just got to start all over again. Nah, couldn't be bothered. So, better play it safe. I'm also very keen to kill B before A. Primary reason being that if you only have the one with the break counter up left, signified by that yellow aura you can see on B, then you have to make sure that you kill it in the same breath that you're breaking it in. Otherwise it's going to be a bad time. A really bad time. Although it looks like they're probably going to get another turn. So maybe the strategy I employed was burning down A to get to a point that, anyone can kill it in a hit. Ooh, what do I do here? Yeah, that looks like it. It's 1%. But that was a risky strategy. Then this doesn't attack. Yeah, this makes sense. Doesn't attack, loses its break counter. Now A is going to go down to anyone's hit, so I can focus on B and get them killed. Anyway, that's the end of the fight. I'm going to announce the person that I'm subjecting to the Creator Challenge, and that's going to be Xcaliblur, who, I'm really sorry, but you've got to run Prishe, who hasn't had a tuning pass, even in JP yet, although I think forecast to be the next BT. Anyway, if you enjoyed this, please do check out some of my other runs, especially the other run I did of this fight. But thank you very much for watching, and I will catch you later. Have a good one.